What if everything we thought we knew about prayer was just scratching the surface? Today we're going to dive into a sermon called The Mystic Bridge of Love and Prayer, and it offers a really radical way of looking at happiness, love, and what it actually means to connect with something greater. So let's just jump right in with the big question, the one this whole thing is really built on. What if prayer isn't about asking for stuff at all?
All right, to really unpack this, we're going to look at 5 key pieces. First, the pursuit of happiness. Then, we'll get into what true love actually is. After that, we'll tackle sacrifice and endurance, the tough stuff. Then, the real purpose of prayer. And finally, how it all connects in this incredible idea of the mystic bridge.
Okay, so first up, happiness. The sermon argues that it all starts with one pretty simple idea, our need for an object. I mean, think about it, right? The point here is that joy and all those good feelings, they're kind of meaningless in a vacuum. When something awesome happens, what's the very first thing you want to do? You want to tell somebody. That somebody or something, that's the object. It's where your joy is aimed. Without it, that feeling just fades away. And sure, that object could be money or, a new degree. But what this source argues is that the most valuable, the most precious object we can have is another person. At the end of the day, human connection is what gives our joy a real home. And this whole idea, it scales way up. See, just like our joy needs an object, the sermon says we all have this deep down desire to be an object for a greater subject. So if we're the ones feeling the joy, the subject is the one it's directed to. And in this way of thinking, the ultimate subject we all want to connect with is God. Okay, so how does this whole subject-object thing actually play out in real life? Well, that brings us right to our next big idea. What is true love? And the answer is pretty surprising. It's all about finding our own value through other people. To get right to the heart of it, the sermon asks a really direct question. Do you love yourself? Sounds simple, right? Well, the answer it gives is anything but. See, it makes this really sharp distinction. On one hand, you've got loving yourself for your own sake, because of how you look or your job title. The sermon calls this kind of superficial, temporary. But then, there's this much deeper kind of self-love. This is the love you feel for yourself because others love you. It's seeing your own worth reflected back at you in the eyes of your kids, your parents, and ultimately God.
So, it's not really about the suit itself, is it? It could be old and patched up. Doesn't matter. What matters is who it's covering. Its whole purpose is to cover this person who is so deeply loved. And it's that love coming from the outside that transforms something ragged and patched into something you can be incredibly proud of.
But let's be real. This kind of love, the kind that's built on how others value you, it isn't easy. It doesn't just happen. And that brings us to the price tag of true love, sacrifice, and endurance.
According to this teaching, true love isn't just fluffy clouds and good feelings. No way. It's something that gets forged in the fire of real hardship. Its true strength is measured by what it's willing to go through.
And there's a clear path laid out here, kind of like a 3-step journey. Step 1, you have to endure the hard stuff. Persist when it's painful. Step 2, you make sacrifices. You give of yourself for something bigger. And finally, step 3, you reach that goal. You attain that true love that's waiting on the other side of all that struggle. This is such a powerful way to think about it. Hard, wrinkled hands, they aren't beautiful in the way a magazine might define it. But when you know those wrinkles came from working hard to provide for you, suddenly they become the most beautiful hands in the entire world. The hardship itself is what gives them your beauty. So you might be thinking, if this path is so full of hardship, how on earth do you get through it? Well, this is where prayer comes back into the picture, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. Here, prayer is seen as a promise and a proclamation. Yeah, so in this view, prayer isn't about sitting back and just wishing for something to happen. It's an active declaration. It's you making a promise to God, saying, hey, I'm committed to going this way, and then asking for the power and the strength to actually see it through.
And prayer kind of serves 2 big purposes on this journey. First, there's the prayer to ask. But you're not asking for things to be easy. You're asking for the motivation, the power to keep going when you feel like you just can't. And then there's the prayer of reporting. This is when you've accomplished something and you're checking back in, expressing gratitude for the help you got along the way.
And get this is not some quiet, Zen-like meditation. The sermon is super clear that true prayer is made with sweat and all your energy. It's not something you do separate from your life. It's baked right into your actions, your effort, and your determination.
Okay, so we've talked about happiness, true love, sacrifice, and this really active kind of prayer. How in the world does this all fit together? Well, it all culminates in the sermon's beautiful central metaphor, the mystic bridge.
So the idea is, this path to God isn't some blind leap of faith. It's a bridge, and you're the one building it, piece by piece. The foundation? That's love for someone or something outside of yourself. The beams and supports? That's your willingness to endure hardship and make sacrifices. And the energy powering the whole construction project? That's the focus you get from prayer.
Because the sermon argues that the journey from our world to a better one, well, it's just too vast, too difficult to do on your own. You need something to cross that gap, a bridge or a ladder. And that one thing, that structure that connects our world to the divine, is love.
So, the final challenge this sermon leaves us with is a really personal one. It suggests that we are all builders. If love is the bridge, then the big question for all of us is, what are you building it with?